Here I am. Oh dear, sorry about that. Here I am once again to claim my fishy crown. And unfortunately, somewhere I have a ski hat that's a shark hat, and I really wish I could find it because you know what? I'm going to try and find it somewhere because every time I do one of these videos, I'm going to wear like my 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 crown of fish to claim my fishy title of King Fisher YouTuber video maker. So and obviously, given my given my claim and my putting on of my invisible crown, and of course the title of the video, you've guessed it, we're going to talk about the fishing industry in the UK. Because, really brief, short minor history, because for some of you may not or may not know. So, prior to the referendum, no one really took up the cries of what we call the small firm fishermen. And these were people who had really small boats, sometimes even smaller than that. We're talking, think about car, maybe think of a car, and then maybe about if you shoved two of them together, something like that size of boat, round about that size. And it really gets to this thing of they were like the expression, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Now their cause was unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, taken up by our good pal Nigel Farage. And Nigel really took up the cause for them because this was something he could use, not as a benefit to them, but he could use it as an example and as a national, as it has become, a nationalistic cry of, look how the EU, they're taking our fish. And it's just like, hold on, that rhetoric doesn't really pass any water because there's no such thing as a British fish. You know, it just doesn't. This concept of it is just nebulous. Fish are completely, um, you know, to a fish, there's no such thing as international water lines. They just go wherever they please, and us doing this essentially really belies the fact of the fishermen having access to the EU market basically allowed them to do what they call a landing catch. Of That's what it was called when you basically get a fish from water, bring it straight to land. That was all that was pretty much sold. About 80% of it, of our catch, of the British fleet catch, goes to the EU. Now, we've said this before, fishermen themselves they're not victims of the EU, as they like to claim. They're really victims of essential UK government negligence, the fact that there are larger fishing firms and industrialisation. And as someone put it, it's like a sailboat based fisherman complaining against a steamboat fisherman. You know, this is the type of industrialization that we're really talking about because they're trying to compete against these massive big trawlers that can do in a single day what it takes one of these small boats to do in about a month. Now, this also does bring into very serious facts of conservation because we have to preserve fish stocks so that, you know, these people can carry on fishing. And we went over an article just a couple of days ago of where you had basically fishermen just saying we should be able to be allowed to fish as much as we want, whenever we want, and how much as we want. That just will not do. You know, we went through. If people remember it in the 90s, even though it's not a thing anymore because of regulations put in by the EU, essentially start preserving fish stocks. So you saw a massive rise in like cod and haddock in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Not so much now. Those stocks have now started to actually replenish, which is a good thing. But this, what we get to now, is probably like the next chapter in the whole sorry fish tale of a saga of fishermen, because this comes from the London Economic. And before we get into that, Please do remember to hit that like and share button. Also, down below there's a link to my Patreon page as well as a one-off donation link, and thank you very much to the people that do support me that way. Your support is very much appreciated. So, on with this article, because this sums up the place once again. Things the fishermen will not tell you, because bizarrely fishermen love, like Nigel Farage, to tell you a half truth, and it makes me wonder if that's where they got it from. Because it wouldn't surprise me if it was. So comes from the London Economic. The title is "Reminder that Britain handed the licence to monitor its waters to a French firm last year." Yes, you did hear that right. Last year, Britain handed its licence to monitor British waters to a French firm. So much for the sovereignty and nationalist argument. Again, they go up in smoke. So, there we are. So, military vessels patrolling UK waters after Brexit may have to rely on data from a French firm that was handed the licence to monitor them back in October of last year. The Ministry of Defence yesterday confirmed that 4 80-metre armed vessels had been placed on standby to guard British waters from EU trawlers in the event that there is no new agreement on fishing rights after the 31st of December, with no transitional agreements, when the transitional agreements end. And I've said this, there is going to absolutely be a deal on fish. So all these fishermen worrying about they're going to be backstabbed by Boris, yes, you absolutely are, because no Prime Minister in their right mind, again, Boris would have to be an absolute lunatic to essentially risk the entire UK economy for an industry that is worth less than 1% of the entire GDP that he's going to ruin. That is the state that we are in. Like I say, we're still waiting on news of a deal. We don't know if there's going to be one. Who knows? But yeah, it's all yeah, fun times. It's the best way to describe it. Anyway, the article continues. French President Emmanuel Macron has been particularly vocal on the issue as he looks ahead to relaunch to his re-election race in 2022. But in a moment of irony, reminiscent of the blue passport fiasco, he may not even need to fret. According to reports in the Time last year, a DEFRA tender handed a contract to track the UK and foreign licensed boats in British waters to a French firm called Collect Location Satellites, or CSL, and after previously being held by a British firm, Globavista. CLS is part owned by the Central National Élite Spéciale, I think that's how you say it, a French government space agency, an Institut Français de Recherche pour Inspection de la Mer, the Oceanographic Institution. I probably butchered that French. Andrew Bridgen, the MP for North West Lancashire, said at the time, "It is ludicrous at a time when we're supposed to be, quote, taking back control of our fisheries, that we're handing over the policing of them to a company part owned by the French government. I warned that the Fisheries Minister, George Eustace, several months ago of the political danger of such a move, and I can't believe anyone with a political nonce would make such a decision as this." DEFRA said, as previous contracts came to an end, a fair and open competition was held to ensure that the UK had the latest technology and received the best value for money. So yeah, as you can see, you know, it's exactly like it was there, the fiasco of the blue passports, but you know. Next year's going to be hilarious. It really is. It really is. And it's going to be horrifyingly funny. Horrifyingly? Funningly, horribly? I don't know, but, you know, think up of your own mishmash words and post it below in the comments. So, anyway, thank you all for watching. Please do remember to hit that like and share button on your way out. And of course, down below, there are links down below to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link. And thank you very much to the people who do support me that way. Your support is very, very much appreciated. And as always, we'll see you all next time.